to ask City Manager Jim Anderson to pray for us and Commissioner Kerrigan to lead us in the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come and do the work of this community. We thank you for the many blessings you gave in us. We ask you to lead us and guide us throughout this new year and everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Order. Thank everyone for coming. Hope you had a wonderful holiday season. And it's time for us to get back to work. The first item on the agenda today is swearing in of two recently re-elected city commissioners. And we had coincided with the general election in November, so it seemed like it's a little late. It's kind of hard to get used to, but this is it. I think it'll work better for the city. We have these two gentlemen that are ready to go and ready to get back to work. So I've asked the judge to come forward as he always does and treats us right. Tim McFarland, our judge, I think everybody.
I think I know everybody in here.
Yeah.
Good to see everybody today. Ms. Hoffman's coming forward. I see her.
Yeah, we got.
She's gonna get some good help to hold the Bible.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna need both hands. Heavy Bible.
All right, if you would, please raise the Bible. Right here. Okay, repeat after me. I, Commissioner Arthur Scott Hoffman,
I, Commissioner Arthur Scott Hoffman,
do solemnly swear
the state
state of Florida
of Florida,
and Gulf County, Florida,
and Gulf County, Florida.
that I'm duly qualified to hold office
I'm duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully perform the duties
and faithfully perform the duties
of the office of City Commissioner
of the office of City Commissioner.
All right, Mr. Lowry. Mr. Lowry's coming forward.
Amber, Brooklyn, come join me.
We have some good help to hold the Bible here.
solemnly swear
That I will support, protect, and defend
that I'll support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United
the
States,
Constitution and government of the United States,
the state of
the
Florida,
state of Florida,
and Gulf County,
and
Florida.
Gulf County, Florida,
That I am duly qualified to hold office
that I'm duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will, upon which I am now about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Judge, we always appreciate it.
Y'all have a good meeting.
Thank you. All right, get work? Go. All right, first item is the consent agenda, which consists of a regular meeting of December 17th, pages 1 through 6. If everybody's had an opportunity to look at those, feel comfortable with what's written, I'll entertain a motion to approve. So maybe Mr. Kerrigan made the motion. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed 5-0. Okay, next item is our city engineer. Mr. Baxter is here. Come forward, please, sir.
I think Jim has a CEI contract that's been selected yet.
It's on the agenda coming up shortly here for the CEI.
So once the council selects CEI contractor, they'll work with us to set up a pre-construction meeting. We'll be able to kick that project off. City government complex, I've received that, so I followed back up again. So I'm expecting something anytime we're building the layout, we'll move forward. Have followed back up with them again. Monument Avenue, Pretty much still the same update. First lift the asphalt is down. They did go back through that after driving over for a few weeks, found a few low spots in that. They actually repaired those low spots, which is a good thing, allowing the traffic to drive back to work. Kind of as we discussed in the last meeting, you know, between John and myself, I don't think there's been a whole lot of progress on that job. We've requested a updated schedule from the contractor and have not received that. So I scheduled a meeting. He'll be meeting us with the season on. Assumption is that they're going to be requesting the time extension for that job, but we want to see what that looks like on paper before we just accept the time extension. So I'll give you guys an update once we have a better idea from them on what we're looking at. The HMGP grant elevation to 12 lift stations, still waiting on FDM for a response. All of the information is turned in, so we're just waiting on the will of the government to turn. Has finally been approved by FDOT for bidding. So we'll be preparing that bid package for those boards for the water and sewer grid.
Sound like we're moving along. You're staying on top of it. We appreciate that, sir. Questions? Anybody? All right, Mr. Josh.
Excuse me, Mayor, I do have one thing for you, Mr. Bass. Memorial, and before you today, the board had previously approved the base bid of $385,987, but they were asking about the bid alternate one. You turn over on the second page of the handout on there, it's $7,608. This is the museum parking lots, what that is, which is state property on there. So they were asking if we were to do it. There's money in the grant that's available on there. So staff recommendation would be to approve this bid alternate number one.
Because obviously it's tied in to Allen Memorial, we're able to utilize the grant. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, this is part of the alternate that was in the bid package put together by your engineers. We didn't catch the little alternate down at the bottom for $7,600.
Well, it wasn't in the bid alternate original. The Centennial building, between Centennial and the museum. So I'm always looking for a little, you know, if they're there, it could, you know, anybody interested in seeing that, it's older than me. It's pretty old. And,
It would be a good idea, especially with a contractor being mobilized, if you wanted to do it. It would be the time.
Right. Can you get something from them on that?
I'll talk to them, just get them to take a look at it, just make a site visit to it.
Okay, but I guess I need a motion to approve this 760820, which will come from the grant.
Yes.
Is there any, idea that little project might come under the grant?
I doubt it, because these projects are under a SCOP grant that's been approved several years in advance, so I would say if we.
Doesn't hurt to try. Okay, but anyway, second by Commissioner Hoffman on 7,608.20, which should be the paving the museum parking lot, which is adjacent to Allen Memorial. Discussion from the board.
And we taking that out of the paving.
That'll come to the grant. The grant is will allow for this because that was in the initial scope. This is your initial grant documents that they submitted in there.
Okay.
We just didn't catch it when we awarded the base bid.
Okay.
We didn't award for the alternate.
Same sign, motion passed 5-0.
I'll prepare change orders. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep. Okay, next item is Mr. Attorney.
Yes, Mayor, just a couple updates. As you guys are aware, at the last meeting, regular meeting, the contract pursuant to the term laid out in the handout from Trudy Fire Guns Consulting, Fundraising Consulting. That contract's been drafted and is currently being reviewed by Dr. Preston. The next thing was Coke. You guys voted to accept the contract pursuant to my approval of it. I have gone through that contract and there's a couple additions that I wanted. There's some clarification that I needed. That's been submitted to them. He's reviewing it with the.
Need to come back, or they authorized me to sign it pending your approval.
Correct.
So I guess.
I think we're good.
Well, that's just a really substantive change.
Correct.
Okay.
Does it have and include language about the additional scoreboard?
That is going to be put in.
Okay. Just don't want to forget that.
Yeah, the one thing that I was having is in the Centennial Building and stuff, festivals, weddings, such as that. And at festivals, the Scout Festival or the Turtle Festival, whatever festival you're talking about, bring in vendors, food vendors. And we can't be responsible for policing every single vendor that's in there and that they're serving Coke products.
Yeah.
And that's the clarification there to say, run the ball fields. They're going to need to only sell Coke products. So, but I needed that clarification in that contract. We don't want to be responsible for leasing every one of these festivals.
No, being a violation.
Right, and weddings and everything else.
We have to buy them through them, right? Buy the Coke products through them. Huh?
Yes,
Yeah, so I agree.
but that's the main clarification. Besides stuff like venue, I want to present a dispute, I want to hear off Carl, Bad City, some stuff like that. I like going 2 blocks. Anyway, that's it.
Like,
If it is something, we can't come to terms on that, I have to bring it back.
okay. All righty. What else?
That is it.
And then any questions? Down old business.
Yes, sir, Mayor. The first item is the city project. Coming back after the holidays this past week, we have a lot of projects to start back. We've got contractors back in town. You'll see a lot of movement happening in the next couple of weeks, several projects.
Okay. Right, what's next?
Mr. Commissioner Langston has been working on landscaping. I know he's. All right, on the new business end, the first item is the employee leave payout. We had a brief discussion at our last meeting, and we have it back for you today on pages 9 and 10 for consideration.
At our last meeting, and I spent a little time researching for policies and talking to Jim about language that would, in my opinion, fix a problem. Currently, we are capping sick leave payout prior to county currently pays 100%. And like it or not, we have to at least continue to compete with the county. I know we can't compete with some of these other companies, but I'm tired of losing our employees, our good employees, to the county. Some of these employees hold license that are, you've heard me mention that before. But I believe I've got some language that would make it simpler. We have some ambiguous language, duplicate language over on, especially on page 10. I'm asking that the new language would simply say that employees with less than 10 years will receive 25% of their use sick, not increase in the amount that you gain at this time, not increasing annual or sick. We're just saying do away with the cap. But for an employee that stays less than 10 years, we're going to still follow, I believe, the status quo and pay them 25% of their unused sick when they leave. When we have an employee with 10 years or more, they will receive 100% of all unused sick leave. So it's 2 sections on page 10. The last item that I think we need to identify and deal with, we have about 4, maybe 5 employees, that's all, that, in my opinion, are the ones that come to work when we need them, and they show up, but they exceed the cap annual leave, which is 360 hours right now. Now, our city manager has been gracious enough to employees, but really doesn't add the policy language to even do what he's been doing. Because our policy says your hours shall lapse. So you lose those hours if you go above the 360. And the only way you get to 360 is because you come to work. If you're taking days here, days there, you'll never get into that group. So I'm just gonna ask that we go from 360 to 480 hours. You have 400 hours. We're not increasing how many hours we give throughout your employment time. Still earn it on the same rate. But what we have is 4 employees that will exceed the 360. And right now, we're literally just kind of ignoring what our policy says and allowing them to then take some time off the following year. But that's what our policy says, so we need to clear it up. So we may as well clear it up.
Where's that in there, Commissioner?
On page 9D, the last 2 words of section D.
9,
Yeah, page 9, section D.
9D. Oh, okay.
Says not more than 360 hours. And then if it's not taken, it'll lapse. So I would just say all annual leave hours in excess of 480. Because if you get to the 480 and you still have the same problem, well, the way you saw it, if you over 480 is turn to sick leave. There's no cap on sick leave. So you don't lose your hours. At least you go back, and if you have an employee that's been on over 10 years, then we shift it from, say they have 485 hours, those 5 hours at the end of the year would turn into sick leave. And then we're going to pay you for it when you leave. So you're solving 2 issues at the same time. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to try.
About, on the annual leave policy. So you're looking at, 180, 40, no, 120 extra on 40-hour week.
Yeah, it would be you carry a maximum of 480 instead of 360. Strike 360, put in 480.
That's 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 4.
But you're still earning it at the same rate. We're not increasing how quick you earn your annual leave. It's just a matter of, instead of capping and going over the cap of 360, and we have to have this secret system of, well, we don't want to take our employees away, and which I agree wholeheartedly. Give them some more room, but we're talking 4 employees currently, and probably some of our, the majority of people today, they have family issues, they have kids sick, they have all these things going on. They travel with their family, which I'm full supporter of people taking their time off. You don't need to be here that much to where you're dealing with an excess of leaves, but some of our jobs demand that they're there. Look at Larry and John and Kevin, all of our department where Larry has to be at that plant or find somebody that's licensed that can give him a break. So that's why I think we need to fix it.
So you're saying if they get over 480, that's gonna go over to the.
Turns into sick leave.
Turn into sick leave, and you want to give 100% of unlimited amount of sick leave.
Correct.
When somebody retires at 10 years, it looks like, 10 years. 100%.
Yeah, and if we want to bump that up, I'm fine with bumping that up to a, more longevity or time in service to be eligible for that.
I penciled in a couple of additions to B on page 10. I'd like to, go from 10 year, then C would be 15 years. You'd give 100% up to 750 hours, and D, 20%.
I'm fine with that.
So
I kind of like that.
So I'd like to you know, we still need to have somewhat of a cap just for, you know, it's just business decisions, all I'm saying, dealing with our budget and so on and so forth. So, you know, I know our employees work hard and show up and everything like that, but we still have to look after the city as a whole. And, so
Let's say the cap, wasn't Smith.
I would say page 10 under letter B, to C would be a 15-year. You'd get 100% of unused sick leave not to exceed 750 hours. And 20 or more, you'd get 100%.
I can support them.
Yeah, you give 100%. That's a hell of a savings plan, I'm telling you. But
And you gotta remember, we're gonna have very, very few employees ever fall into that category.
I hope we have a lot, but I understand.
Yeah, well, the only way you'll have a lot is by adding these incentives to stay.
Right.
The only thing I just can't wholly support is moving, just like you said, a business decision, Mr. Mayor, is the lapse. I mean, the conversion from,
Annual leave, yeah.
employees need to take a little bit of time, but I can support the increase to 4A.
Yeah, and I didn't come up with the idea of converting sick leave. That's how the state of Florida, through their union negotiations, have done it for at least the last 15 years.
But at the end of the year, if they have enough time, they're gonna take a couple of weeks. I would take a couple of weeks for anyway.
I agree.
That's exactly what, and then you get to that end of the year, you have all these projects going on, and you go to that employee and say, do you realize you're 75, 80 hours over?
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Commissioner. They're gonna say, okay, well then I'll take off starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you have, 5 or 6 of your top employees that you just force them to go home because they don't want to lose their time.
And I know a few employees that 2 weeks, they don't lose their time. So basically, if you're rolling it over, you're not losing anything.
When I got ready to retire, I was faced with a decision. I could tell the state of Florida, pay me a quarter for every dollar you owe me. That's how sick leave works with the state of Florida and FRS. You got 2,200 hours, they'll pay you a quarter of that. And they have a cap. Well, with me, I'm not getting a quarter when you owe me $1. I took time off. I'd work 2 days, I'd be off 3. Well, I followed the guidelines of when you have to have a doctor's excuse. And I'd come back to work 1 day. And I remember my captain came to me and said, Scott, what are you doing? You're literally working a day here and there. I said, well, I'm just pretty much doing the same thing you did last year, because he burned about 2,000 hours. And that's really a silly system to work on.
So 9 annual leave is what we have on the books now. And a 40-hour week, that's 9 days in a year's time. That's 9 days off in a year's time. Am I doing that right? I'm just converting it to days. 40-hour. Yeah, 40-hour week. So that's, no, that ain't right. That's
360 divided by 12.
Yeah. Yeah. So 90 days.
And two, the one thing you got to put in perspective, the supervisors have to control, when they can and can't take time. I mean, stagger it somehow. If you've got a hardship in a department,
Yeah.
And I believe that if I'm not incorrect, if during the year, try to predict they may deny it because of operation purpose, you can't take that time only at the end of the year. Not over. He's tried to take it and
We got a policy manual and everybody works under it. They understand it. I mean, if you gotta have some time, I mean, I love everybody coming to work all the time, but we have to understand that folks are, sometimes they want to and sometimes they need to because maybe an illness in the family or something. But they know what, when they get employed by us, they know what the rules are that we've got set out. And I think they're fair. I do think they're fair. I'm not sure I'm based on, 14-day paid holidays and 360 hours of annual leave. Pretty dang good. I don't know. Anywhere but maybe the county in the United States is better than that.
Mayor, that's not accumulated every year, that's the maximum. Right now, accumulation.
Maximum over your employment terms.
Yes, or over the length of your term.
You don't
Right
get
now-
hired and they give you 6 or 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Currently, right now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Pierce, after 1 year, you get 1 week. After 2 years, you get 2 weeks
But that's vacation.
vacation.
That's not annual leave.
Yes.
That's annual leave. Y'all are calling it, annual leave is vacation.
Yes.
You don't have two different
It's
descriptions.
the way our policy, we got holidays, which are holidays that are afforded by the board, but you have annual leave.
Okay.
sick leave.
Okay.
And then after 5 years, you get 3, and then y'all added a couple of years ago, if you got 10 years of service, you got 4.
Right. So you're proposing, Commissioner Hopper, based on the longevity and the plea, your annual leave would be 400 days.
Right. And you still earning the same amount of hours per year, weeks per year.
Sure. Got it.
And the only other caveat is for those few employees that max out and go above the 480, instead of losing or lapsing like it speaks currently, we just simply convert them as a benefit to the employee instead of taking away from.
I'm more to stick with the 480 and not convert it over. I prefer we do that.
I'm fine with that. We'll
I-
battle that another day.
Yeah.
So
Well, the D on page 9, up at the top D, he's proposing to change that to annual leave. That's hours.
Let's vote on that first.
That's good. Okay. All right, we're gonna have two votes. The first vote will be to change in the policy manual. D would be under, well, you just took part of it out, but anyway, and what we have in front of us on page 9, at the top of the page, D, further discussion board. Anybody from the audience got one person interested?
Big rough branch, I'd like to say one more thing. As Mr. Hoffman said, I was actually on FRS and worked the state also. And the only thing I said, and I'm not gonna say yay or nay.
Right.
But he probably, understand Mr. McCardle, his job, he's probably the only one that runs his job, and Mr. Pettis as well. I'm thinking equipment operators, your laborers. Now, what I'm seeing, if you want to keep employment, you need to treat your workers that start out just the same as your seasoned workers, because if you don't treat them right, when they work up to 10 years is what I heard. They're not gonna be long, they're gonna be down at the courthouse working with the county. You need to give a little bit and treat them the same. If they come to work, a young man comes to work just as good as an old man. You see what I'm saying? So you might wanna go back and look at that 10-year cap on your payout. Because, if you don't want to treat him right, destroy it, he's not gonna stay long, so he's gonna go somewhere. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Anybody else from the audience? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed by the. Now, under B on page 10, add C, 15 years cap of $750 on sick leave. And after 20 years or more, 100% of sick leave.
You go with that?
Okay, so Fire made the motion there, second.
I'd like
Second,
to,
Commissioner Kerrigan.
and I'd like to ask if you will make it retroactive to December the 1st. Because we all are aware, we had an employee that's been with us over 20 years, left. Guess where he went? Now working at the county. But I think that we should go back to December 1 to make sure he's compensated at this rate.
Is there anybody else?
I'll include that in the motion.
Okay, there a motion to make the changes retroactive to December 1
Yes.
of 2024.
Correct.
Okay. Any more discussion from the board? Anybody else? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. All right, let's move on to
Yes, sir, Mayor. We did open up City Guide Services. This is for our large road paving project. It has been awarded to Roberts, and we did open up City Guide Services. We received one request for qualifications that come from, if you turn to page 11 and 12, SCE, Southeastern Consulting Engineers, for a price of $117,013. We currently have $54,000. This would have to be partially paid out of your funding that you have put aside in the city's budget for road payment. $62,670.51 will come out of the city budget itself. But you got
say that again, 62 what?
$62,672.51 would have to come outside of the grant, because the grant would be expended at this point, would come out of your road paving expense.
Right. And that's based on our 1.5 million, yeah, total grant / bid. And that's about, what now percent wise, are you 6%?
Somewhere around there, yes, sir.
Which is pretty normal. We got one bid. So,
Yes, we're ready to move forward on it. We'll call a pre-construction meeting, as Mr. Baxter said, probably within a week. Move along with the other paving. We've got a lot of road paving going on. What we got up here in town,
we got Roberts here. They're ready to go. Okay.
Got one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
With the road paving projects and the grants and stuff that we have, I know we've looked at the list, and as going forward, it's close to every road, Fort St. Joe's, gonna get repaved. I think I've spoken with a lot of people in the community, and, you know, as the area grows, as we all know, traffic grows as well, and we're starting to get more and more traffic, people to get places through Garrison Avenue and Long Avenue. And so we have, Jake, you tell me if I'm wrong, you know, most of those are 30-mile-an-hour zones and stuff.
Yes.
So I did some research of what other areas that have ran into the same type problems with traffic control and speed control. And in the old days, they would put in, you know, roundabouts, speed bumps. But now we're speed tables. And I don't know if y'all are aware much of what a speed table is. It's a little bit longer and it's not as high. And you're able to go over it fine at 20, 30 miles an hour. But when your speed increases to 40, 45, and 50, you will feel that. But there are statistics from different communities, and I'll get some of that to all y'all, that shows the improvement of traffic flow, measures, everything. I mean, I was shocked. It was somebody from the community came to me to have me research it, and I was kind of blown away. I think if you're gonna be repaving a lot of roads, I think we need to maybe take a look at it ahead of time, because it's not that big a deal. It's not like it's that much asphalt. These asphalt companies know exactly how to put these things in when they're doing the paving. Something I think we should take a look at, hopefully.
On our current projects, you mean?
Current projects, yeah.
We definitely need to guide our kids, on all the students, everywhere, and, it's like drivers don't even see them. I know, but we definitely need to try to make some improvements with, you're right, Commissioner. Has to be something done. You have officers there, like they can see them before they get to them and slow down, but it's not, it's everything.
I mean, you go through residential areas and stuff, like up in Tallahassee and everything, they're everywhere through there. I mean, that's how you control the traffic. And if it's somebody that's trying to take a shortcut, get to Apalachicola or out to the hospital, different stuff, they will learn to take the major highway, the way it was designed to get to where you're going, instead of cutting through neighborhoods. I think on 7th Street alone, they had done testing how many cars come through there on a daily basis, zipping up to go to the convenience stores and the gas stations up there. And it was astronomical of how much traffic runs through 7th Street. And I think it's a great idea, and everybody else does. I think it's something we should take a look at and get for. See how it affects our projects.
That's what I guess, 3 years ago, something like that. And, we got no trucks other than now, but, I do.
There's basic natural speed bumps on the South Street right now, slowing down. I drive every day to the convenience store.
Yeah.
You can't go very fast, you get swallowed.
We have a lot of commercials, we take shortcuts from 71 to 98, and 98 to 71. They don't care about the foot sign.
Yeah, but if you're coming through there with a truck and you're carrying a water behind you and stuff, you're gonna think twice about taking that route.
Would you mind, getting with engineer, chatting with him about that?
Sure.
And see, maybe he can follow up with Roberts while they're here and, maybe see what they say, maybe, come back with some figures, I guess, best way to put it, what it costs to, a few places.
Just if you got Long Avenue, it still has
Exactly.
that last
Well, that's what I was saying.
asphalt, letting them test it out on the lawn.
All right, anything else? Entertain a motion for, CEI services for our, head along, 453218-1-54-01 is the number, and, $170,013, of which the 672,672.51 would come out of the city, paving, line item in our budget. I'll entertain that motion, if somebody like to make it. Mr. Karen made the motion, there's a second. Second. Excuse me, by Commissioner, President of the Board. Anybody in the audience? All right, opposed, same sign, motion passed, 5-0. Good, get going. Okay, any other new business, Jim? Anybody have anything? Okay, Public Works, Mr. Grant, has an item on page 13. he would like us to consider. Wow, something there from 1960. Wow. Anyway, John, you want to talk about that or?
Again, these are just items in multiple departments that landed there at Public Works, you know, whether it's police department or wastewater, or water plant, that we just need to get rid of.
I think,
Yes, I've got your truck on.
and you got the green truck on it.
All right, need a motion to declare them surplus and, go out for bids.
So move.
Made a motion and, there's a second.
Second.
Mr. Kerrigan, second. Discussion forward, anybody from the audience?
Yeah.
You got one.
I noticed that I guess the motion, not only surplus the property, but to receive sealed bids. I'd like to be a little more open because we may have a group that needs one of these items, like they got a pile of trailers. So if we had a group flyer as to us donating it, I'll still want to have that flexibility to make donations from this list.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, basically, you're gonna go out for bids on the whole package or one at a time?
Individually.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Correct. It would
And,
be individual.
so, I think we'd have to be more specific, Commissioner Hoffman, about what items you would accept or give away, I guess.
Yeah, donate.
Yeah,
Well, Mayor, I think what would happen is we go out there, we go out, set seal bids. It would have to come back before so in the interim, I believe what you could do is if you had parties that were interested in donation through 501c or something along those lines, if they get that to us in a timely manner before you award those bids on there, you got that option to give it away or to go to seal.
We can advertise, I guess, that way. Yeah. We advertise it, just, you know, any 501c3 convention, you have it by a certain date, a couple weeks before.
Same time that we're accepting the bids in, and that way you got them both in front of you. If you got, most of these add-ons right here are not very valuable, so yeah, we're not looking at a bunch of money.
But once you get a bid, someone's willing to pay you for that item. You can't necessarily, donating it then becomes a problem because you're taking money.
Yeah, if I bid on something and then you took it away and said, well, we decided to donate that.
Well, right, which is what, can you do it prior to the bid opening?
I think prior-
2 weeks prior to is what I mentioned.
Yeah, you put like, so they need to get in before we open those bids.
Correct.
Yeah.
Individuals or 501c3s prior to the opening.
We can bring it out.
how rough figures, what kind of value, you got anything in your mind that some of the items might be worth several thousand?
No. No. When we get done with them, Mayor, they're done.
I know about Chief's truck, but
You could probably take that thing if they wanted to get it and order it out. Probably make like motors and stuff like that, but it had to be somebody that wanted to get it and part it out. Us, we paid $1,000 for it, and we got more than $1,000 inside the.
right.
I will withdraw my concerns based on the value of the properties at hand and wait till maybe next year. to
Yes.
surplus some of this.
If these are still usable, we would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm- Yeah.
So the motion was to, just the way it reads,
Yeah, that means
surface and receive bids.
hundreds of steel hydraulic line, and they've all rusted out.
All right, there's motions and, seconds by Kerrigan. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye? Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5. All right. All right, Larry.
I got the new board today. That's good.
When I was draining some lines yesterday, getting ready for this freeze, we're gonna have just about a week. I had a little nasty water. When was last time we flushed, and do you feel like we need it?
Well, of course, I'm not sure where John stands on this, but yeah, I think it's about time. It's been a few years. If we've had any, direction flush.
I just hate to get back where we were 7, 8 years ago when it was just disaster with bad water.
I think.
Yeah, I know we got new pipes, we're still getting there.
I think I'd have to donate an employee or two to help me out right now. Not sure where you're at as far as before we.
It don't have to be right now. I don't know.
Or I mean.
No, but I think we need to start, I do think we need to think about it.
Well, it's something we discussed the first of the year about flushing this stuff anyway.
Yeah, we did.
Was discussed earlier. So we do have plans and we probably should mark.
Can you kind of put it on your list and let's think about I think we probably need it. Jim, yes. Okay. All right, we'll, put it on the list. And remember, you said you'd loan him an employee. He said,
Two. Take him at 2.
okay, all right. Okay, anything else, Larry?
No, Joe.
Okay, Kevin?
Workshop. On the workshop, we're still set up for, we wanted to schedule a meeting 28th, 11th, that's all set up. And there'll be a presentation from Pastor O'Donovan, kind of where we are, how much money each step is. And I'd like the full explanation to you guys on where everything is and where we need to be. So the workshop is set up as we asked.
Invite DEP to come.
We can. And it's a
You think that'd be,
I can
think
invite.
it'd be beneficial?
Yes, actually, it would be, if I get the right person involved. We got a new case manager. This is probably a good place for her to start to see where we are, our roadmap from here to there.
Even though you're in communication with them, I realize that all the time, it still wouldn't hurt to get them up and running.
I'll throw out the invite. I sent out a quarterly letter guide, and it's a summary of what we've done the last quarter. And this is a continuous thing throughout this whole consent order. So at the end of each quarter, they get a letter saying, here's what we've done this quarter and the stuff we've got coming up. I think it'd be good for the new consent order managers to, meet everybody and see that they're actively working on it. I'll throw out the invite.
Okay. Question, anything else, Kevin?
I was just we got a project coming up. We can control about 5 feet of pond and to get the pond lower. We're at 3 foot 9 inches right now. To get lower than 5 feet, we're gonna have to do some plumbing work, which means a bore through the dike wall or something in that. That's gonna be a summer project. That'll have to happen. So I just wanted you guys to know that that's what we're going to have to do this summer for them to keep dropping pond there. The way the piping was set up, when they redid everything out there, we could control the top. Initially, it's top 2 foot. We worked on now. We've got the top 5 foot of control, but when we have 15 foot of water, we can't drop any lower, which means years past, we just don't push out any more water. We take months off, and then you're, sure, pick it back up. But we need to get it now. So there's going to be a project that you hear that's going to come. I don't think it'll be crazy expensive, but we're going to have one of those projects probably this summer. Our goal right now is to hit that 5 foot mark of freeboard so that we can work on the next piece of it, which is lower on them. And
Spray field?
We're, St. John's come pick a lot of that, like the bulk pipe that runs out through the field, so your trunk line, bulk of that's done. He's still working on the rest of that, so you've got a little more of that and then some laterals to do. So that's moving along at a pretty good pace.
We're picking that back up tomorrow, maybe. We're picking this up in the main line. Again, should be by the end of this month, hopefully 100% done the main line, moving into, spray it. In February.
So that cause you to have a schedule, get more than 5 feet?
We still have the bottleneck of filters.
Okay.
So it just means that we're not flooding part of our field. So we work pretty hard. That way we can work with part of that field. And then that part is a numbers game. Our, we can only put out 1.710 MGD based on the size of our field. So this open up zone 3 means we can put more water, take more customers. So that's the numbers part of it.
Anybody got any questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. LaCour.
Mayor, on the FEMA reimbursement for Clifford Sims, I was able to make some contact with our consulting firm that handles the reimbursement. Our contact that I had been working with is no longer with that company. I established another relationship. And then yesterday, they informed me that they do have the project in final review. So that's where we are. So hopefully we'll get that $2 million back here within the month, I would hope. But they tell me it is in pipeline and it is moving forward.
Are you talking to someone in Tallahassee?
This is, it's Florida Department of Emergency Management. They use a consulting firm, RMS Consulting, that handles these projects for them. So I'm sure that final routing is with the Florida DEM for the final approval. So yes, sir. So I've gotten some headway there with the reimbursement to finally close it out for Hurricane Michael. That's all I had for today, Mayor.
Grants come along, reimbursement pretty good.
We've just queued up the big $10 million grant, and so we'll start seeing $250,000, $300,000 a month reimbursements as the contractor moves into the larger phase of that project. In fact, I had a call from our consultant during the meeting to do our monthly report. Yes, we do have to keep on top of that, but we do have a consultant for that large project that'll help us roll those reimbursements consistently.
Get too tight.
No, sir, we keep a close look.
Questions, Mike, any code enforcement?
Yes, sir. This time of year, Mayor, you don't have a lot of grass issues. You have more on the lines of substandard structures and automobiles. We're still working through those. Still waiting for a date to hear when the county's going to take down the roof. We have had contact from several others that are wanting to get a program. As soon as that paperwork comes back on the additional one, we'll bring them in.
Abandoned vehicles.
Yes, we're still working through that. It's a constant
Have we
battle.
picked any up? I guess that's a better question.
Not recently, we need to schedule some more for here.
Question, okay. With that, I drive around and see tons of front yards in disarray with old, what looks to be old broke down boats and rusted trailers and stuff. Is that part of the code enforcement when it comes to, when you say a vehicle has to be registered, insured, that kind of stuff, is same applied to those types of items?
Yes, so the challenge is, the way the code set up, I can offer for them and keep them there. So that's the challenge on there. There's no limit to the number of campers or
That's
boats.
definitely not what I'm referring to. So,
But yeah, if you have any of those, it will cut.
All right, anyway, Chief, your turn.
I don't have anything unless you guys have questions. Quite peaceful, holiday season, but
Very good. All right.
For no change, other than we're continuing what we do every day, working on grants, seeking funding, looking for opportunities.
Condolences to Ms. Pierce and the recent loss of her brother. And a beautiful service yesterday for him. So, any questions, Ms. Pierce? Okay. Nothing else from the board. Citizens to be heard. Anyone like to come before the board today?
Good evening again, Robert Branch. I spoke on this issue, the last two meetings actually, it's to do with the 10th Street improvements that Mr. Grantham brought up, recreation improvements, and I spoke on the head wall fencing that y'all approved, actually on December 3rd. And I'd like to clear that up for the record. And I'm gonna read the minutes first. Ms. Charlotte Road, the motion was made by Commissioner Hoffman, second by Commissioner Langston, to approve monolith construction, replacing 225 foot of 6-foot fence at the 10th Street head wall. Actually, they replaced that with 4-foot fence, so that's totally wrong. I don't know if it's the minutes were wrote up wrong or monolith bid on 6-foot fence, but they only use 4-foot fence, so y'all need to look at that.
Yep.
Please. Okay, the next item.
Taking notes on that.
Appreciate it. The next item is the 8th Street behind the stack house, so I'm gonna read it. It actually is 205 foot of 6-foot fence. Okay, and you use existing fence. They did actually use these 130-foot fence there, so they've only replaced half of what was bid. It says 225, but me stepping it off is 130 foot. So that's totally false as well. And that's a lot of money. I brought it up last week. Now, so I'm gonna lay the money out, and I brought up my three boys fairly. Surely there's somebody that works in this crew that can put up a chain link fence as good as that one put up. Have y'all seen that fence? It looks like a boomerang. Look at the one on 10th Street. It's terrible. So I'm gonna lay the price out, and actually, it's the same fence material you can buy at Home Depot and Lowe's. And this is where I got my price. I went to Lowe's and Home Depot website. And the parts, I'm talking parts, what Monolith replaced for 8th Street fence is approximately $837, 16 hours labor, so they charge the city $457 an hour to put that fence up. I'm sure somebody in the city can do it a lot cheaper. Okay, now I'm gonna jump to 10th Street, the same way, 1,138 parts, they charge $351 an hour for that. That y'all you're throwing money. Now, let's show this. 115,000 going to them. Y'all need to look at it again. That's what I spoke on, that y'all approved last meeting. That's 115,000. Y'all agreed to pay them. Before y'all paid Monolith 115, you need to go back and look at the job they did on 8 and 10. And Mr. Mayor, if you give me 1 second, I'll finish up.
I'm allowed to go.
I appreciate it, because this is, we got to remember, this is our money. So I'm gonna skip through what y'all voted on. I'm gonna go to what I found on the construction that actually concerns me. I noticed he was here a minute ago, Chris Carriges. He also sits on the planning board, PDRB board. I've actually been one of them meetings. He was voted in, let's see, and I'm gonna read. Chairman Wish welcome you, board member Chris Carriges, to the board. That was on October 3rd of 23. Actually, November 5th, 24th meeting, now I'm reading the planning board minutes. I'm seeing a lot of the same people. That was actually Mr. Lawyer here, Jim, Chris Carrigan, Monolith. Okay, so he went right down as a PDRB board member and voted for Rich Family Plaza. No way in a blue moon should he have done that, because he's a business partner with them. 2000, September actually, 21. Real estate partner Grant Rich said he hoped this would be an asset for tourists. That's when all that construction was built in Highland View. Monolith Construction, Chris Carrigonis, the same guy that's doing this work. Okay, if he's a business partner, why is he sitting on the planning board at the same time and voting on these decisions? That's the biggest conflict I've ever seen. Now, and I'm gonna stop at that. I'm gonna copy this. I'll talk to you after the meeting, but this is that. Y'all need to look what you're, how you spend our money.
We'll make sure that all the work that we pay for is getting done properly.
And it needs to be legitimate. What I'm seeing here, y'all need to look down the bottom of the barrel. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. John, you're gonna double check all that? I assume you're doing anyway.
We haven't got to that point yet. That's what we are hoping.
Not time.
I won't belabor what Mr. Brick said, but, you know, Mayor, we did talk about this at the last meeting and concerns over what sort of fencing, would it be put up properly, all of these things. And I would encourage you to go down there and really look at this. And I was under the assumption, and I could be very wrong, that this was going to be more of a cruise as well. And we talked about how this would be put up because that area is so soggy because it's in a wetland. And so I just am concerned about the cost, how it was bid out separately. And I think I appreciate you, Mayor, saying you're going to go back and look at everything and we're going to make sure everything's right. But if it's in your packet to have all of his information, in fairness to the citizens that are paying for all of this, we should be able to look at that without having to do a public records request or anything. I mean, it goes back to transparency. This man does sit on the planning board, and we want to make sure that everything is done appropriately for the citizens and for what we're paying for. So that's what I would ask, without doing a public record request, but and sit with y'all and be able to just go online and see these documents that this gentleman is putting forward. So, thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Please come forward, state your name and sign in, please, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sign in now first.
Oh, you can speak and sign. That's fine. Just state your name for the record.
Lynn Peters, Street, which is almost next to the Washington Gym. And I just wanted to get some clarification as to what the funding that Neil's done. I understand it's applied to either the county or the city. When that money is going to be allocated for the repair, upgrade, or whatever to this camera.
I'm not
I
sure I
understand
heard
funds were
that.
allocated either here to the city or to the county.
Oh, is that, maybe that was the grant that the county got? Yeah, that was all through the county,
Okay, does the city
all
or
through the
state-
county. They went out for a grant. I had always heard they got it, but
I haven't heard anything, any work
And
done.
we had an agreement to allow them to do work.
Sorry.
yeah.
We had an agreement, an little agreement with the city, the county, to allow them to work.
To do the work, you have an agreement for that money?
Not the money, we agreed to allow them to go on. Our property, city property,
Right.
to allow them to go ahead and do it, take control of the job.
Okay, well, who's leading that up?
I guess
Who we talk?
with Sandy, yeah, Sandy Quinn,
Okay.
chairman,
Chairman of the Gulf County.
No, I know.
Yes,
He
yes.
lives in my community.
That's,
Let me just ask a question. Who in the city is going to handle working with him? Because that gym has been a mess before Hurricane Michael, and it's worse now. You have children going in there in the summertime especially. We have events there, and we're gonna be charged, I understand, more money for the use of that gym. And nothing's been done to improve it other than the bathroom.
I have not seen anything from the county on their grant, because in the grant, you've got to, explain every line item, what you plan to do with it. I haven't seen that, and I'm not sure anybody here has seen that. All I have heard that they had I'm not being evasive, but
No, I understand, Mayor. Can I ask someone on the commissioner's days to look into it, bro?
yeah, Jim, can you follow up with Sandy, see what you can find out about what that is?
And we're gonna be charged the same rates as the Centennial?
Yes. Yeah.
Unless you're a nonprofit or a family that's like having a people, we're gonna waive those fees. Groups fees, I think at our last meeting. So it's nonprofit or a family,
Okay, that's
like
fair.
bereavement.
What if they aren't?
Well, I mean, if it's like, let's say, I'll go back in time, we used to have like a July the 4th group that bring in bands, they charge money.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay, yes, because they're making money on this event that they're hosting.
Okay.
Lions Club Sportsman Banquet, hey,
It's been improved. And we're being charged the same thing in the Centennial. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
The grand opening was wonderful.
well, all I can say is what was voted on and.
I understand, I'm too late,
Yeah.
late to the party, but just like trying to find out what we can do to improve that.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Mr. Mayor, can I say something back to what she said? I'll be very sad. And the question, they, actually at the last county commission meeting, and I guess you can say this goes to what she's talking about. Our commissioner voted to have a kind of a roundabout workshop this January 15th at the Honeyville Community Center. And their main topic is recreation. The funding for recreation, the money for recreation. And Washington, countywide, one is other.
Yeah.
So, and everybody's invited, nothing gonna be voted on, but be a roundabout talk, everything be workshop. Workshop January 15th.
Right, appreciate it. Jim can check on it, see what you can find out, appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay, item by Commissioner Langston.
We want to discuss the, air conditioning in the wind.
Right, in our city meeting, the WIG group had requested, we pay for an air conditioner, $7,200 and something. We didn't have all of that in our budget, so we voted to take half out of the CRA budget and ask this board if they would match that to building. So all you guys are here, so I'll need a motion and then we'll have a discussion. All right. So Commissioner Langston made the motion, there's a second. Second by Commissioner Carey. Discussion.
Mayor, that amount would be $3,710.
Okay, that's the exact amount be reflected in a minute. Oh, where's it coming from?
Those monies would be available in our repair and maintenance of bill.
Okay, okay. Where's money coming from? Okay. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 5-0. Anything else, Commissioner Wright? Okay, Commissioner Carey?
That's it for me.
Okay. Mr. Lowry?
Just look forward to serving, with you guys another term on the commission. Glad to be here.
Commissioner Hall?
I only have one item. Have we discussed or made and voted on this for our legislative lobbyists? We need a legislative agenda fact that committee meetings start Monday. We need to be ahead of it, and I think our lobbyists should know what we are asking for and what we expect them to ask for on our behalf. Usually we do that.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be back in November. Isn't that normally when that legislative guys ask to submit our requests?
We haven't seen it come through yet, but absolutely, it's a good point. We need to.
So in the past, they've sent something to us saying what y'all want,
Yeah.
and they have failed to do that.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen anything come through.
This far into the game, that concerns me.
But yes, it's a good point. We need to, so if each of you will give us your list on there, we'll compile it.
Suggestion. In a couple of weeks, we have next meeting, our last meeting for January, and you have a representative or team lobbying here at our next meeting to discuss ins and outs, maybe get a feel for what they think might be easy money, low hanging, what might be too big of an ask. I think we need to have some type of communication. I think would be helpful.
Yeah, not only that, to see, and Ms. Charlotte will have to go back in minutes, what we asked for last year. I think, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure we voted on it. You had a $1 million something in there, and there were about 5 items, I believe.
Yeah, we narrowed it down a little bit.
Yeah, we did. I'd like to, if you could have that, what we asked for last year, we want to do it again, or we need to ask them why we didn't get it, and all that.
So I can speak directly to this firm and you might want to to the meeting, give them a little insight on what we're dealing with our wastewater plant and the direction that DEP has us going in. Find it very difficult to accept that there's not funding there. And anyway, I think that's not asking too much for the funding that we need as a city to keep our wastewater plant secure, safe, and protecting our St. Domingue specials. That's all I have.
Good, dude. Only thing I have is, congrats and welcome back to our re-elected commissioner. Look forward to serving with you guys, in the future, and we still have a lot of work to do. So, nothing, thank you all for coming.